We're just getting hammered this morning.
We're down by between 3 and 4.5%, down 21%.
Because we're now down 43%.
What in the world is happening on Wall Street?
2-year no yields.
Lehman Brothers is going bankrupt.
How much can you see here? How's the time? Hey.
A Friday afternoon in June last year.
Look, you know what? This thing has changed so many times. I'm just reading what you want me to read.
A titan of Wall Street prepares to address his staff in New York, London, and around the world. He wants to put an end to rumors that the firm is in trouble. Crisis? What crisis?
Every one of you should feel confident and proud. Our firm is strong today, and we will emerge from this cycle even stronger. We've done it before, and we will do it again.
Lehman Brothers staff arrived at work in London this morning to be told the bank had been put into administration.
It is disastrous, but I think people are experienced enough and professional enough to take it on the chin.
When the news came on that Monday, it was shock. There were just people standing around in huddles, in groups.
Because we didn't know what was going to happen. You know, text messages were flying around to say that the office was going to be locked, that we wouldn't be able to get in.
Lehman Brothers now go to court, where a judge will take control of the bank until its assets are sold.
Fear is extraordinarily contagious, and we saw that in September of 2008 like we've never seen it before in financial markets.
Lehman Brothers was a global investment bank that filed for bankruptcy in 2008, triggering a financial crisis that had ripple effects throughout the world. The bank was founded in 1850 and had a long history of success, but it ultimately failed due to its heavy involvement in the subprime mortgage market and its use of complex financial instruments, such as collateralized debt obligations, CDOs.
Lehman Brothers staff arrived at work in London this morning to be told the bank had been put into administration.
It's got $600 billion in assets. Nothing like that had ever gone bust before. Nothing really like that has ever gone bust since.
It's not good. It sucks.
Having seen the value of these things go from as close to zero as anyone can be bothered to make a trade happen at, all the way up to the highest trade at 50%, has been, of course, life-changing.
It's probably one of the biggest distressed debt trades in hedge fund history.
Lehman Brothers, and this goes back a little before the panic. Lehman was looking for money at that time, and they approached Berkshire. I came down to the office at night and made these little notes on here of things that were red flags, and you'll see a number of pages here. And you had to get to page 150 or 200, but there was clearly a lot of trouble there. By the time I got through, I decided that we were not in a position to lend money to Lehman.
In the years leading up to the crisis, Lehman Brothers and other banks had invested heavily in the U.S. housing market, particularly in subprime mortgages, which are given to borrowers with poor credit. These mortgages were often bundled together and sold as securities, known as CDOs, to investors around the world. As housing prices began to decline in 2007, the value of these securities fell, and many investors, including Lehman Brothers, were left with significant losses. Leading up to the crisis, Lehman Brothers and other banks had used leverage, or borrowed money, to invest in the housing market. This magnified their potential gains but also their potential losses.
Close to like a free-fall bankruptcy, as experts would call it, than any other bankruptcy.
With panic spreading, Wall Street looked for who would be the next to fall. Number one on the list was Lehman Brothers, with massive exposure to the crumbling mortgage market after years of buying in big. Its stock price tanking, Lehman, with the government's help, tried to find a buyer, but no luck. After a summer of rescues, the political appetite for another huge Wall Street bailout was gone, and the 150-year-old firm was finished.
In 2008, Lehman Brothers was unable to find a buyer or secure a government bailout and filed for bankruptcy. The bankruptcy was the largest in U.S. history, and it sent shockwaves through the global financial system. Many banks and financial institutions had invested heavily in Lehman Brothers, and they too were left with significant losses. This led to a credit freeze, as banks stopped lending to each other and to businesses and consumers.
One of the lessons of the 2008 and 9 experience, really the 2008 experience, was the fact that every company in the United States was a domino, and those dominoes were placed right next to each other. So when they started toppling, everything was in line, and they were very, very close to it. And it's really like the old movies, where there's a run on the bank.
It's getting so a guy's money ain't safe unless it's in his sock.
If you have a run on a bank and there's a big line in front of the bank and you've got your money in that bank, you're going to get in line. And if the president of the bank comes out and says, our capital ratio is 13%, you don't care, because you don't know what a capital ratio is, and you don't know whether he knows what one is, and he's probably lying to you. A company like Lehman or any major financial institution depends on people being willing to do business with them tomorrow and lend them money tomorrow and take their word the next day. And nobody has to do business with Lehman or any other institution. Once they lose confidence, it's all over.
The effects of the Lehman Brothers bankruptcy were felt around the world, leading to a global recession. Many people lost their jobs and homes, and the stock market suffered steep declines. The crisis also led to significant changes in regulation of the financial sector, including the creation of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act. In summary, Lehman Brothers was a global investment bank that failed in 2008 due to its heavy involvement in the subprime mortgage market and its use of complex financial instruments such as CDOs. The bankruptcy led to a financial crisis that had ripple effects throughout the world, leading to global recession and significant changes in regulation of the financial sector.